breaking news. Congress just releasing tens of thousands of pages from the Epstein files. Tens of thousands of pages. Now, right now, CNN's combing through these documents. There are redactions in there as well. Democrats on the House Oversight Committee, though, have complained that this batch from the DOJ contains very little new information. It does come as members of the committee, along with House Speaker Mike Johnson, met with 6 Epstein accusers for more than 2 hours today. That's important. They were able to share their harrowing stories with the Speaker as they are pushing the Trump administration to release all of the files.
There were tears in the room. There was outrage. It was both, I would describe it as heartbreaking and infuriating that justice has been delayed so long.
Speaker Johnson making those comments, talking about delayed, which would imply that now it's time for justice. But he is also, in terms of his action, opposing a push from Republican Congressman Thomas Massie, who at this hour is collecting signatures for a petition that would force a vote on the release of the full Epstein files. He only needs 6 Republicans to join him. All right, Barry Levine's with us, former editor of the National Enquirer, author of The Spider about the Epstein investigation, and Tara Palmeri, who has reported extensively on Epstein and also has been speaking with some of his accusers today. So, Barry, just to go through the data, we were all just sitting here prior to this, of what we got. Ro Khanna told NPR this morning, was jotting it all down because I thought he laid it out well, 1 gigabyte of information was released. Sounds like a lot. Oh, a gigabyte. Well, there were 300 total. So we got 1 out of the 300. That's less than 1%. And of that less than 1% of the Epstein files, almost all of it, 97% of that little bit was already out there. So when people say we want the full Epstein files, that's not what this is. That's why Massie and Khanna are up in arms. So is this anything new in here?
Aaron, I wish we had something really bombshell to talk about, but what we're seeing, at least what I started going through, I'm seeing the same stuff that's already been out in the public domain that already has redactions on going back to the original Palm Beach case. We have Maxwell's court case. We don't have any of the juicy stuff that might tell us something and might give some of these victims closure. Where's the autopsy report on Epstein? Where's the 60-count indictment that was drawn up by the FBI that never came to pass? Really good information's in that material. The computer files, all the CDs. We're not seeing any of that tonight. What we are seeing is the possibility of a tidbit or two from the Customs and Protection list of Epstein flights from 2000 to 2014.
So some more flights.
There might be something new in some of that may be or may not be redacted. I haven't gotten to that portion of it yet, but I'm expecting no real bombshells tonight from the new material.
And really, Terry, the takeaway here is, okay, it's nice they're releasing what they were given.
Right.
But why 1 gigabyte out of 300? I mean, what is the problem here, right? If everyone wants transparency, give it to them all. Put it out there. That's not what happened. It happened.
It's interesting because Speaker Johnson says he's protecting the innocent, and yet the innocent who were there speaking to him directly, 6 Epstein survivors in a room with him saying, no, we want the files out there. This is what we want. You're not protecting us. This is, in fact, the opposite of that. I know that from a source that their attorney, Sigrid McCauley, she's a partner at David Boies' firm. She's a powerhouse attorney. And she said, when you get those Epstein files, when the DOJ hands them over, if they are unredacted, you are going to see the names of men that my clients have accused that they have been trafficked to. That these people, they are out there and that they want justice. They're not okay with just Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein being prosecuted.
And just to be clear, right, and I think this is so important, is what do the victims want? Well, they're saying they want this out there. And Tara's reporting, Barry, has shown that there's over 1,000 male names, possibly, in the total files. Right?
1,000 victims, yeah.
1,000 victims. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry. And countless men, right? We don't know, but that part is redacted, right?
Dozens and dozens of men.
Yeah.
This is certainly something that really is the heart of the files. Let's go after these individuals, not only the men who took part in the sex trafficking, but also the enablers, the men who put some of these victims on planes to the Virgin Islands for Jeffrey Epstein. He had international fixers in several different countries who were supplying young girls to him. We know from the Attorney General in the Virgin Islands that there were girls as young as 12 years old who got off planes. There were men who put these girls on those planes, and we need to do a full sweep of all these files to come up with as many names of enablers and also individuals who took part in the trafficking.
So Tara, why is it, and I get, every time I talk about this with anybody, in conversation, it comes up a lot. What they say is, how come it hasn't leaked? How come something like this, where justice could be done by those men being exposed, why hasn't it ever leaked? I mean, you've been covering this and reporting on it for a long time.
It's interesting that you said that, because I think it's the fact that the people that are in those files, the men that are mentioned, are just so powerful. And this is just another extension of what we're seeing right now in our government, lawfare. If these names are released, those very powerful men, first of all, they've already fought the courts to keep their names redacted in all these depositions and all these files that are public. As you saw when Virginia Giuffre's documents were released by Pam Bondi, the classified documents, they were just her redacted depositions, right? Already public. And that's the thing. I mean, there is a fear of retribution, of lawfare, of defamation suits by some of the most powerful men in the world. I mean, we're talking about foreign dignitaries, leaders, politicians, heads of state, business, finance. I mean, he rolled in some serious circles. I do think if there are some details in these flight logs, maybe it can be used to put together a real case if a prosecutor wanted to do it, to show, okay, I can place this victim on this plane going to this island with these people. I mean, if you actually wanted to build a case, you could do it.
Yes, you have that evidence, and you also have the existing flight logs. And if you match up some of the new material that's coming out tonight, there may be substantiated evidence that could be used in a possible prosecution.
And we can all just hope, when Speaker Johnson says delayed justice, that something's going to change and that he actually is going to want justice for those men and pursue that. Thank you both very much.